is discriminatory over his treatment of Israel.
Is he not?
The Gentiles. He is in the Quran also.
How?
Because Israel is the favoured nation.
We're talking about since the Quran was, listen, since the Quran was revealed.
Oh, not since the beginning of time, because Adam was a Muslim, wasn't he?
Adam wasn't a Jew either.
I said he was a Muslim, wasn't he? Don't you believe that?
No, but we are talking about the law, the Sharia right now.
I thought you were talking about the Quran.
Can we stick to one topic?
Not your
because
topic, though. Yes, we
you
can stick to one topic.
you seem to be going all over the
Because
place.
you chat,
Okay.
and I'm trying to
what for you the law of Jesus Christ or
Yes,
the law?
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah, listen to the question. Okay, if Christ was your last prophet, last messenger, the one to bring your the law to you,
Yep, I'll
then
tell you it.
I'm saying his law should be equal for everyone, not
It
separate
is.
law for
Okay,
the
are
Jew.
you
No, it's
ready
not.
for
You
it?
said.
Are you ready
Yeah,
for
but
it?
you need to understand. You need to acknowledge that the law is different for the Jewish people and the law is different for the Gentiles
Okay,
in
so
Christianity.
the law for Christians, which is all that Christ can proclaim, because there are antichrist, there are religions.
Let's stick to Christians.
Christians,
Yes.
these are the two most important commandments.
Yeah.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul and mind, and love your neighbour as yourself. Whether your neighbour is Jewish, Muslim, a murderer, a liar, a thief. So those are Christ himself said, these are the two most important things I'm going to tell you.
Right.
So it's love.
What if your neighbor is a
So
terrorist?
love does not.
Do-
What about it?
What do you do?
would Love them.
Do you love him?
Do you have neighbours on the other side who you want to protect?
No.
Or you just
If
in a
your
single house?
neighbor was a terrorist,
Yep.
would you report him?
Potentially.
So it's not loving him then.
Yes, it is. Of course. Oh, that's disgusting. You know why it's loving him? You know why?
Why
it's
is it loving him?
Because he's fallen so far from the truth of God
Right.
that he needs to be disciplined in order to realise fully his mistakes. It depends whether he's planning to be a terrorist, whether he's just been misguided somewhere. But the fact is that just because somebody's a sinner, Christ himself said that this murderer or this thief on the cross will see me in heaven. He loved everybody. He prayed for those who had crucified him. And if he can love his killers, I can love a terrorist. I can love.
There's a difference between a killer and a terrorist.
No, there isn't. If
Okay.
they've already committed their terrorism.
For example, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ forgave the killer of his uncle.
So you think? Sorry.
Let me
you think
finish.
it's
Why do you-
loving
I'll let
to
you
report-
speak, Kay.
You said that Christians don't report paedophilia, but you're saying.
Okay, calm
don't-
down, calm down.
And
When
I'm
I'm
finished this
speaking,
sentence.
no.
And you said, I'm not your demon. You said that if you report somebody, how can you love them?
It's not called loving. When you
Imams have this feeling.
hold on, let me have a word in between, because what you're trying to do is
There's a lot of
you're
words.
trying to, I don't know, somehow take over the discussion. So just listen. It's a two-way thing. We listen and we
Did you
speak.
take on board what I said?
Yes, I did. What I'm saying is that for you to say love, I think your meaning of love is quite broad, maybe. But what I'm saying is, when you love someone, for example, Hitler was a terrorist to me. Would you love Hitler?
Christ loved him. Christ told me.
Would you love Hitler?
Christ, my God, told me. So let
Yeah.
me finish the sentence. You will love them as I have loved you.
Yeah.
In God's eyes, I am a murderer because I've hated in my heart. In God's eyes, I am an adulteress because I've lusted with my eyes and in my heart.
Okay.
So I am already condemned to death, the same as
It's
Hitler.
stopped, isn't it? Okay.
And if God can love him, then I have, I can. It doesn't mean I
But do you? Do you love Hitler?
know him.
You don't need to know him. You know about him.
I know he was very, very, very sick.
Do you love him?
Do you?
I don't.
Would you grass him up to the police?
I
if he
would.
was your
I
neighbour?
would definitely.
Wow.
If he was Hitler, I would definitely. I would definitely.
Would you do
In
that?
fact, even if he wasn't my neighbor, or even if he was someone I knew well.
I'm told to hate
So-
my enemy. So if I set him
No,
up
you're
as
told to
my
love your
enemy-
enemy.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. I'm so sorry. So if I set him up as my enemy theologically, civilly, societally.
So do you love Nazis then?
No, I have to love everybody. Do you not hear
Nazis.
me?
You love Nazis.
You can pick and choose who you want me to love.
Well, I'm trying to see if you're
Christ told-
consistent. That's all.
Christ told me, love your neighbour as yourself and love your enemy. Bless those who curse you, pray for those who despitefully use you. He didn't say, oh, but by the way, you could just hate this group. Or by
Right.
the way, there will
You know, many English people will be very upset when you say you love Hitler and the Nazis, because
Why would many English people
the reason for that is because Hitler wanted to take over Britain.
Yes.
And the reason Britain fought the Nazis, and in fact all of Europe fought him,
Yes.
was for the reason because he was an oppressor.
If you-
In Islam, let me finish. In Islam, we have this principle that if someone is an oppressor, then you either use force, yes, or at least speak out against him, or if you cannot even do that, then at
Unless
least
they're a terrorist, 'cause
at
you
least
wouldn't
you're doing it
report
again.
them. I know,
Okay, let
because
me
the
finish.
contradictions
Let me
are
finish. Yeah,
hurting.
keep it in your head and then tell me when I
talk for
finish.
too long.
If you're unable to do that, then maybe we should end this
you
discussion.
talk for
But I don't want to
too
talk
long.
over you,
But you
and
can't
I don't want.
anyway.
Yes.
Carry
So
on.
hear me out.
Yep.
If someone is an oppressor, you got to force him to basically stop his oppression. And if you can't do that, then at least speak out against him. If you cannot even do that, at least in your heart consider it to be wrong. And this is the principle we use in Islam. So if someone is a terrorist, you don't love them. You do not say, this oppressor, let him go about rampaging and killing and murdering and raping women and children, and you say, I love you.
Is it my
No,
turn?
that is, no, not your turn yet. Let me
you're
finish.
talking to the camera.
Let me finish. Yeah, you can hear me as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that if you come across such a person, you do not love them. You speak out against them. And this is exactly what happened during the time of the Amalekites. When I asked a Christian, why would God punish women and children and even the infants and the donkeys and the
How many
oxen?
subjects do you want me to try
No, it's the
and
same
answer?
topic, same topic.
How many?
I'm asking you, if God wanted you to love them,
So can I
why
start
did
now?
God sanction the killing of the Amalekites by his
Yeah.
chosen people?
Brilliant, got you.
Good.
Didn't sanction the loving of the Amalekites because they're no longer here because God deemed it fit for them to be destroyed. So that's one thing.
So
Two-
no loving, yeah? No loving there.
I let you speak.
Yes, good.
Almost.
Just wanted to confirm.
So, loving does not mean approving of, condoning, assisting. I could love my child. If my child does a horrific crime, I could love them just as I was walking them into the court for the judge to decide whether
Does it
they
include
were
killing?
guilty. You're still speaking. So therefore love does not condone. So I can have love for my enemies, and so could Christ, not by loving their actions or their personality.
No, just killing
but by
them.
loving the image of God within them.
Just killing them is loving, right?
Who said so?
Amalekites.
I've already answered you that.
No, you
God
haven't.
Didn't love. God decided for their destruction. They don't exist today.
Is that loving? I'm
So
asking you.
Christ who
Let's be
came
consistent.
So Christ
Is
who-
killing them
so
loving?
Christ who
Because
came
I really lost
hundreds
the
of
understanding
years after the
of love and
Amalekites.
killing.
Well, if you try and listen, Christ came after the Amalekites in the flesh. He does not.
Christ
command-
ordered the Amalekites' death. He was God, remember?
And that's why he doesn't command me to love them because they're no longer here.
Also, you don't love them.
Who are they? They're not here.
They don't have to be here. Neither is Hitler.
I don't have to
But you just
pretend-
said you love him.
I didn't say I love him.
Also, you don't love him.
I don't know him. I love my enemies.
The reason
If
you're
he's
not
an enemy of
consistent,
me-
Kay, look, it's
No,
very
I
clear.
am
It's very
consistent.
clear.
Love
You either love them.
is patient,
Look,
love is
if
kind,
loving,
does not boast.
okay, does love include
you-
killing them?
Got you. Can I answer you?
Yeah.
So
Please
you
make
said-
sure you answer that
yes,
question.
you
Does love include killing them?
I will answer you if you allow me to speak. So
Yeah.
earlier you said our ideas of love must be very different.
Yeah,
And I would
which
say
clearly
that
are.
the Bible gives a clear definition of what love is.
Which
And I
is?
just quoted it to start with. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not boast, it does not envy.
Yeah. I didn't see the word killing in there.
It's not a loving act to kill somebody.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wait.
Finally.
Wait,
Go on.
because they are created in the image of God. God alone knows their destiny, God alone knows their motivation, and God alone knows what has influenced them to become the person they are.
So God did not love the Amalekites.
Hitler, the Amalekites, whomever they are, God has deemed it fit for them to die with the wages of sin, that is death. Their
Right.
punishment in hell will be far greater than any that I could wish for them if I was a hateful person, which I'm not. So when my own God commands me to love, your opinion, with all due respect, is irrelevant to me, because on Judgment Day we may be standing side
So
by
for-
side, but I will be judged by my
So
Creator.
basically you're telling me now that
Love
love
your
your
enemies.
enemy has no meaning.
No, you don't have to kill someone if you love them. You leave that.
I agree with that.
Exactly. So you leave it to God.
So now,
Where's the judgment
so
mankind in
so
the
wait a,
Quran?
so wait a minute. If you were a Christian, let's say you were,
am a Christian.
let's say if you were a Christian who was ruling by the Bible,
Okay.
yes,
Yep.
and you're the queen,
If you like.
hypothetically
Yep.
speaking,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
and you had to rule by the Bible,
Yep.
and if your neighboring country comes and invades your country, what do? According to the Bible,
Okay. In my first instance, I pray for those who are persecuting me.
yeah.
I would, I suppose, convene with any ministers of state for their, valued opinions. I would pray that God would.
I said they attacked you already.
I know. Yeah.
So
it's my kingdom.
Yeah.
It's a big kingdom.
Yeah, what do you
We're
do?
only at the outskirts at the moment.
No, I said they already attacked you, means they're inside the
Personally
country.
or my nation.
No, your nation.
Okay, so whilst they're invading, I pray, I ask for guidance, I ask for physical guidance from military strategists, whomever, defensive, such and such.
Yeah.
But the initial thing, God tells us, take all things to him in prayer, cast all your anxieties on him. So I have to trust that the Lord. Okay, so in Jeremiah 29 it says, for I know the plans I have for you, saith the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. And I know that Yahweh, my God, in this hypothetical, unless he's bringing some great judgment upon my
While you're doing that, they're advancing forward. What do you do then?
Fine.
What do you
Pray.
do? Just pray.
No.
So basically, you're telling me,
defensive strategy.
which means military killing.
Do you think?
Does it include killing?
So you've gone from capital punishment to military action.
No, I said it's an attack
Killing.
by a country. Yes.
Yeah.
Does it include killing?
People will die. Yeah.
So does it include your order to kill them?
No.
Because you're the.
No, it involves my order because I'm the queen. So
Yes.
shush. It involves my order to defend the land at all costs.
Yes, including killing them.
At all costs.
Including killing
Do you
them.
understand what?
Yeah, no, you're trying to be very diplomatic. I'm trying to
I'm the
understand.
queen.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
But basically, you will include, when you say a military strategy, does that include killing your enemies?
Defense at all costs.
Including killing, right?
Well, that is one of the costs.
Good. So loving the enemy includes killing them.
No, it doesn't.
But you just said killing.
No, they're not. No, an enemy. So okay, so
They are the enemy, obviously. They have come to attack your country. Now you're the queen. You're ruling by the Bible.
Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute.
Sorry?
Islam. Wait,
Exactly. Kill or be killed. Yeah.
Islam deems people enemies of the religion just by dint of their birth or their theological views.
Where do you get that from? Enemy of the religion.
Kafirs.
You know what
Christians,
kafir means?
non-Muslim.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Apparently,
How
you
do-
get to kill them where you find them. Don't distract me. I'm the queen. I'm talking.
No, you're not the queen anymore. You're now.
I've abdicated.
No, because I've revoked your powers of the queen, which I gave you earlier. Okay, so now we have used, by the way, where in the Bible, in the New Testament, does it say you can kill your enemies?
It doesn't.
So you just said,
I said by all
wait, you said by all means, does that include your own personal?
I'm not each individual soldier. I don't know.
No, wait. When you sanction the killing using,
I didn't sanction the
wait
killing.
a minute, hear the question at least.
Don't make a
When I say
false
sanction means you use military strategy, which, and I asked you very clearly, does it include killing? And you said yes.
No,
Any means
of
necessary.
course, yes.
Any means necessary. Remember?
I'm not American. I said that all
Any
wrong.
means necessary. So what that means is you have now sanctioned the use of military power. The fact that you actually have a military as a Christian queen.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that in the New Testament that you can have a military power of your own?
It's not in there or not in there.
Okay, so how do you punish someone if they come to attack your country? It's in Islam.
No,
Yeah.
you can kill apostates. That's all right.
In Islam, we can have an army to defend the nation with all, and this is exactly what we see in the world today who are not even Muslims, yes, including Britain. They have an army. But I'm asking you, according to you as a Christian ruling by the Bible, are you allowed to have an army to kill your enemies? Then what does it mean?
No, an army is not only merely for killing. An army is for defence.
Yes, but it includes killing as well.
And when the bin men go on strike,
What's
and
the
other-
bin men come in the army
maybe
from?
you're not old enough. They bring in the military. When civil society breaks down to the extent of
Yeah, we do have
strike,
exceptions. Exceptions to the rule is different
there are
thing.
exceptions to the rule of
What you're saying is you have an army to
You're
defend.
saying
What does defend
well,
means?
it's
If
not
an
an assault.
if
That's what
your
you're saying.
enemy attacks you, you fight back.
Got
Like you
you.
said, kill or be killed.
No.
Now this is every military in the world uses this strategy. That if somebody comes to attack your country,
Right.
you fight back.
No, you
You don't turn the other cheek.
It's not about fighting.
Would you
it's
turn the
about
other cheek or would you?
defence.
Yeah, but
No, Christ.
What does-
Let me explain something.
what does defense mean?
Christ.
What does defense mean?
Let me tell you.
Defense means if they
Defense
come
is
to
a
attack you,
barrier.
you defend yourself by
Christ
using force even.
Turn the other cheek is to the individual, to nations, and to churches.
Okay, anyway,
I don't-
as long as we agree that you can use a military force as a Christian
Military
based on the Bible,
defense.
yeah, but defense
Yes,
includes
the
killing.
Crusades were defensive action by the Pope.
Do you agree with the Crusades?
I think that the Pope at the time made sound theological arguments which created too much enthusiasm. He promised things that were not his to promise. He promised that your sins would be wiped out if you took them.
You know the Crusades killed many Christians
Yes,
on their way here.
yes.
So if they were non-Catholics, they would kill them.
Yeah.
Well, here meaning like
Yeah, I
on
know
the way
there
to
was
Jerusalem.
A lot of bloodshed within the Crusades. I agreed to this. I
Anyway.
agreed that the Pope made some sound theological arguments, but the things that he offered in terms of salvation and the erasure of sins was not his
As
gift.
look, the reason I brought in Amalekites, the reason I brought in this, just wanted to show you that these laws, which you saying, love your enemy, turn the other cheek, all this are good in theory, but when it comes to practice, they're inapplicable. For example, for me to say, love your enemy, especially an enemy like Hitler, I would, without hesitation, I would say he is an enemy, no doubt. Yes, so even if I was a Christian, I would probably say the same thing, that he is an enemy, because he is the one who was killing innocent people just because someone happened to be a different religion, like the Jewish people.
Oh my gosh, sorry, the hypocrisy is just too much.
What do you mean?
Right, I'm going to just put it this way. Okay, so whether or not you love Islamic apostates, whether you're saying you're hastening their demise so that Allah can judge them quick, I don't know what we're
talking about love the enemy. What's that got to do with apostates? Apostates in the Jewish religion have to be killed as well.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish.
It's in the Old Testament.
Let me finish. You love the Old Testament because it's...
Don't you?
Yes, I do, but it's not applicable to me personally.
It's from your God.
It is from my
Whether it's applicable or not, you should.
God as well.
No, it's not. No.
You don't know that there is only one God and there is no other God. I know of
the
no
Torah
other
was from Allah, but it has been changed. What do you have today? The Old Testament, to me, it's not the Torah given to Moses.
God, then. So you contradict.
I'm not. I'm saying that is not the book given to Moses. Simple as that.
And then my God came along and...
your God? No. You just said
I said it's from my God, and I said it's from your God too.
No. Okay, look. When you... Okay, go on. Make your point, yeah.
So, within Christianity, if somebody leaves the religion, the very worst you're going to find happen, apart from some maybe shunning, if they're, like maybe some shunning, hopefully not, but they're going to be prayed for. They're not going to be molested, as in physically attacked. They're not going to be given ultimatums as to whether or not they join. By slandering Christ, the Christian can and will still be forgiven.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am. But by the
Holy
Spirit, the Holy Spirit is different.
Have you read Luke?
Christ. Tell me what you're saying. But my point is, I'm drawing the distinction between Muslim apostate killing and the loving Christian stance of praying for apostates. And because God says they will never be snatched from my hands, and Christ says, "Here is He who gives eternal life." So really, they can't apostatize, I suppose. But yes, tell me, Luke.
Okay. I don't know if you've come across this passage.
I hope I have, because I've read it.
It's a parable.
Yep.
Yeah, where Jesus says, where's it gone? Just one sec. Here it is. But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me. Luke chapter 19 verse 27.
Who's speaking?
Jesus.
Okay. And what's the preceding verse? What's his?
You tell me.
Have a look.
Yeah, have a look. Look at it in context, no problem.
And obviously we're just assuming everybody watching knows about the fight the unbelievers killed. Why are you behaving that kind of thing? Yeah?
Sorry, say again?
I'm saying presumably everybody watching knows that there are lots of violent, what's the word? Calls to violence within the Quran. Okay, so Luke.
Yeah, in the context of war, yes, there is violence, of course.
But it's always
we don't turn the
religious war.
Nobody turns the other cheek in a war.
Yeah. Does
no one's saying it,
say
please.
that you should fight until there are no more?
Can you stick to that passage? Yes.
While you're talking.
Yeah, I want you to focus on that, and then we talk about the wars in Islam. No problem.
I don't want to talk about the wars in Islam. I just want to know: are you supposed to fight until there are no non-believers? Is it like till the end time?
No, that's not true.
Okay,
no.
I think it is, but
no.
I'll find it anyway.
Yeah.
Luke, what?
Luke 19:27. But it's a parable that Jesus says.
So he's quoting a king, is he? I can't remember.
Yeah. So this parable was basically about Jesus, who told his disciples. But what is the intention in narrating this parable? Let's see if you know that.
All right, so let me just read it briefly.
Yeah.
While the people were listening to this, Jesus proceeded to tell them a parable because he was near Jerusalem and they thought the kingdom of God would appear imminently.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, a man of noble birth went to a distant country to lay claim to his kingship and then return. Beforehand, he called 10 of his servants and gave them 10 minas, as in monetary. Conduct business with this until I return, he said. But his subjects hated him and sent a delegation after him to say, "We do not want this man to rule over us." When he returned from procuring his kingship, he summoned the servants to whom he had given the money to find out what each had earned. The first came forward and said, "Master, your money has produced 10 more miners or minas, I'm not sure." His master replied, "Well done, good servant, because you've been faithful in very small matter, you shall have authority over 10 cities." The second servant came and said, "Master, your miner has made 5. And to this he said, "You shall have authority over 5 cities." And then another servant came and said, "Master, here is your mina which I have laid away in a piece of cloth. For I was afraid of you, because you are a harsh man. You withdraw what you do not deposit and reap what you did not sow." His master replied, "You wicked servant, I will judge you by your own words. So you knew that I am a harsh man, withdrawing what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not deposit my money in the bank, and upon my return I could have collected interest?" Then he told those standing by, "Take the money from him and give it to the one who has 10. "Master," they said, "he already has 10. And he replied, "I tell you that everyone who has will be given more, but the one who does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him. And these enemies of mine, who were unwilling for me to rule over them, bring them here and slay them in front of me." So my take on that is that it's not Christ's words, it's Christ's words, but he's not. Christ never said, "Bring my enemies and slay them in front of me." He's telling a story of somebody, and the bottom line, or my understanding from a very brief reading of it, is that those who have will be given more, and those who have not, even those, will be taken away from them. And my understanding of that, I imagine, is that those who have the Holy Spirit, those who have some fruits,
Who's to be killed?
the enemies of that king in the story.
Okay, so
Don't divert me though, because I just want to finish what I'm
Okay,
saying,
go on,
please,
yeah.
if you don't mind. So my understanding of that is those who have the fruits of the Spirit, even though they're still sinners, will be given more in the kingdom.
Okay.
Those who have nothing of Christ, of nothing of goodness, nothing of mercy, nothing of peace, patience, kindness, will have everything taken from them, because they will have their souls cast into eternal
they'll be
damnation.
killed basically.
No, they'll
Well, it says here very clearly,
it's more important.
"But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me."
So what do you
Luke
think this
chapter 19.
What do you think the fictional king means by that?
It's not fictional. This is a
It's a parable.
Yeah, a parable doesn't mean it's fictional.
It's not a
A parable, actually, every parable in the Bible or elsewhere has a meaning.
Admit the word
So,
fictional.
so,
What do you
so
think
what
this
does it?
king meant?
The king here. Okay, let's identify
Did
the.
Jesus explain the parable?
Well, Jesus and the people of the church, like you said, the scholars. So this is Gill's explanation. You know, Gill's explanation of the entire Bible is quite a renowned, what do you say, tafsir, or the exegesis of the Bible.
Commentary is what we call it.
Of the Bible. So he explains it as such that it was to explain what will happen to the Jews actually. Yes. So when Christ shall come the second time, Jesus will destroy the Jewish nation for rejecting him. Yes. And then all other enemies will be slain and destroyed as well. That means those who reject him as a king. Death and destruction will be the fate of whoever does not accept Jesus' reign as the warrior king.
yeah.
Now
I don't know
God
about warrior king. Does
in
he
this,
say so?
well, he comes and he kills his enemies in the second time.
No,
He makes his enemies his footstools and so on.
Make a very brief
Yeah, after I finish, let me
His
finish this
enemies are the
point.
enemies of
Let
the truth.
me finish.
Yep.
Basically, in this parable, God is the vineyard owner, so he's the
Yep,
master.
yep.
Yes, the tenants are the Jewish people,
Yep.
and the servants are the prophets, basically. Yes, and the Son is actually as Jesus here. Now, this clearly shows that if you do not accept Jesus in the second coming as the King, then you will be killed.
You should accept. Yeah.
Yes, do you agree with that? So,
No, but
so when you talk about the
the
killings, wait,
Bible says-
when you talk about
Thank you.
when you talk about the about turning the other cheek
Yep.
and loving your enemy, that was for a brief period of 3 years of Jesus' ministry, because during his second coming he will not be so charitable.
So,
He will
sorry.
destroy all his enemies, make them his footstools.
It's not really.
Yes, just ignore that. All right.
You're forgiven. We love you. Yeah. Well, I say we. I mean me. Steve, relax yourself now, darling. So, okay.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that the parables were obviously, most of them are explained, as you know. The commentaries of one, even renowned commentator, cannot be taken in isolation. Just with the tafsirs,
You can look at the other commentaries, no problem.
I understand that.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, Christ,
More or less they say the same thing.
Christ is not calling for the slaying of his enemies. What he is saying is that his enemies, by dint of being anti-Christ, will reap the wrath of the Father and will be cast into hell. So he's not saying, Christians, bring me these people and slay them at my feet, because my feet are no longer on the
What do you mean wrath of the Father?
The judgment, the wages of sin.
But doesn't Jesus say that I do what I see my Father do?
Yes.
So will he be doing it as well?
Christ is the judge.
No, but will he be doing the killing or not?
Do you understand? Christ is the judge. He did.
Yeah, God the Father is also the judge.
No.
Yes. In the Bible it says he's the
Let
judge.
me finish.
Yes.
So apart from, I don't accept your premise of the 3 years only and then in the second coming, because there are thousands of years, hopefully, in between the apocalypse and now.
So Jesus doing the killing now?
Jesus is never doing the killing.
Ever?
When? Show me where Christ.
I just showed you the parable.
This king is instructing his minions to bring his enemies to his feet to be slain. Yeah?
His minion happens to be Jesus according to this parable.
No.
He's the son.
The king is Jesus.
He's the son.
No,
the king is not. The king is the Father,
Right.
the God. Jesus is not the king. He's even though he might be the king according to
The
Christians.
King of Kings, the peace of peace.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't have any garment on his shoulder, which people use the Old Testament. Yes,
His
but he
garments
didn't.
also cast for lots. but
Jesus
it's kind
said
of
this.
relevant to the
Jesus
central point.
said, "My kingdom is not of this world." Do you remember that passage? Yes. So Jesus didn't have any garment here.
He had authority. He says, I've been given authority over all things.
Yeah,
all things includes this world and the next world.
So you're saying you're still contradicting Jesus' statement that my kingdom is not of this world.
No, I'm
So having authority, wait, let me get this right.
Yep.
So Jesus has all authority but zero kingdom. It doesn't make sense, does it?
He has a kingdom.
Where is
What do you
it?
mean?
Where is the kingdom? He said it's not of this world. Where is
The
it?
heavenly kingdom. What do you think it is?
No. If his kingdom is not of this world, where is it?
But the citizens of his kingdom are alive in this world.
But his
And
kingdom is not of this world.
Wait, but the inhabitants of it are, because until Judgment Day.
So let me get this right.
No.
Citizens of this
I don't
kingdom,
want you
of
to
this
get this
world,
right, 'cause I haven't
but his
finished
kingdom is
what
not
I'm
of this
saying,
world.
but I haven't finished
Doesn't make
what I'm
sense.
saying. The kingdom of God is at hand, as in not here, it's at hand, meaning imminent or.
Yeah, they said that for the last 2,000 years they've been saying this.
God's got.
Do you know Paul actually believed it was imminent as well?
Finish again. Okay, yep.
Yes? Jesus believed that it was imminent. His disciples believed it was imminent 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. And
How
to
is it
God, that
imminent?
Nothing. But to God, that is nothing.
Okay.
The Psalms, as you love the Old Testament, like the Psalms say, 1,000 years is as one day to the Lord.
Blessed shall be he who takes your little ones and dashes them against the rock. Psalm.
Who said so?
You just remind me that.
Who said so?
Psalm. It's in the Psalm, book of Psalm. Not Sam,
I'm
in the book of
joking.
Psalms.
Who is it David?
I believe this is God giving the command. God is saying this. Blessed shall be he who takes little ones, that means babies, and dashes them against the rock.
The most horrific sinner will be blessed. Hallelujah. How great is that? If God can forgive those people.
But do you agree with that?
I believe that God is all-knowing and righteous. I don't question
Killing
God's
babies.
justice.
Why is God so
come on,
obsessed
Shamsi.
with killing
Please,
babies?
Shamsi, sorry.
Do I look like Shamsi?
You do when you're asking that question. The killing babies alive. I'm just checking if
But wait. Why would you not condemn such an act?
Because it's not an act, it's a
Blessing. It's a blessing.
It's a verb.
Blessed shall be he who takes little ones and dashes them against the
Can
rock.
I argue?
Blessing of the Lord Almighty,
Can I
including
answer
Jesus.
you, though?
Yes,
the
go on.
answer is it's not an act. There's no baby being killed in that. It's even the most horrific sinner can be blessed.
Why?
Why? Because God is infinitely merciful, and so is Allah. So I don't know why you're.
Why would Allah bless someone who's killing
Why
babies?
is He infinitely merciful?
No, wait. Infinitely just and infinite merciful. You need to take them. What does infinite?
I don't take them
Wait.
separately.
By the way, the
because
term
infinite.
I would use the term
It's
absolute
eternal.
rather than infinite. Absolute justice and absolute
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, absolute justice and absolute mercy and absolute in every way. Actually, all his attributes are absolute. However, Allah does not punish little babies. Doesn't command anyone to dash them to the rocks. Just
No
like
one's
just
commanding them to
well,
dash them to the rocks there
well,
either.
actually, it's worse.
No, it's
it's worse.
Don't do that. You're better than that.
No, it's worse. In God is saying bless them.
Yeah.
Why would God
Love
bless
your
someone?
enemies.
Why would God bless someone
Because it's
who is a baby killer? I don't understand.
Anybody who has a termination, are we including those women?
No, we're talking about abortion here.
We're talking about killing babies.
By the way, there's another one in Hosea.
But by the way, all you're doing is just picking at a book that you clearly just.
No, it just shows all these horrific verses. You just want to shun it under
No,
the.
I don't.
Under the carpet.
I'm telling you that the infinite mercy of God and the infinite justice and perfect mercy and justice of God meet at the cross.
Really?
Yes.
So
and I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to talk
okay,
over.
show me the mercy and justice in killing babies.
I'm trying to show you the
She's saying they
perfect.
meet at the cross.
I say they meet at the cross because the judgment of all mankind is meted out onto one, and that one is God.
That doesn't make
He
sense.
I don't care whether it makes sense.
Of course you don't care. That's why you accept it.
And Jesus is
The reason-
It makes perfect sense to me. But
What,
you're
killing babies makes
you're
perfect sense to you?
No, and that's just a ridiculous statement.
That's the Bible I read. Psalm 137:9. Do you mind, sir? I'm talking to her.
Let me just calm down. You're saying that you truly believe in your heart that I just said that.
What?
You say that killing back. So you believe that when I'm talking about the person.
You try to justify it.
No, I didn't. Don't do that, Hashim. You said.
So you don't justify it?
I will finish.
Do you condemn it?
So the perfect mercy and justice
Yes.
of God, the everlasting Father, meet at the cross.
How?
In that. Thank you for asking. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
In that, he meets out the justice that is deserved by all sinners and takes it upon himself because he alone is a perfect sacrifice.
Are baby sinners?
I haven't finished yet though.
Yeah. We're talking about babies, not adults. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about babies and infants. Why are the babies?
Anybody clothed in flesh.
Can you finish? Let me finish the question. Let me ask the question. In the case of the Amalekites, in 1 Samuel 15:3 and 4, in the case of the Midianites,
Yep.
again in Numbers 31, 17, 18,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
God instructs the Jewish people, his chosen people,
Israel.
yes,
Not the
so,
Jewish people. Israel. He
well,
instructs.
they are Jewish people.
But it's Israel within the text.
Well,
Carry on.
you want to call Israel the nation? That's fine. It's just semantics at the end of the day. Okay, these chosen people were basically
Moses.
instructed,
Yep.
Moses, and in the
Moses
case
then
Saul
instructed
and
them.
Saul,
Yeah,
yes,
yep.
instructed by God
Yep.
to go and kill every woman, every
Everyone.
man,
Yep.
every child,
Except
and
for anyone who couldn't
wait,
reproduce the
every
bloodline.
child and
Yep.
every infant, and the oxen and the donkeys even. Why the donkeys?
Donkey liberation rights. Do you know Muslims? The amount of times I've been asked about these poor donkeys. What about the black dogs?
Flood is
What
different.
about the
I'll
dolphins?
explain that in a
What about
minute.
the
I'll explain
lizards?
that. But good point. Yes.
Come on.
In the case of the flood, God is doing it directly. So the reason. Wait. Here's the thing. In the case of the flood or earthquake or any natural calamities, yes, God is doing it directly. Allah says in the Quran that He doesn't burden anyone beyond His ability, beyond His scope. So, for example, if anyone instructed you or her or anybody else here to go to every door, yes, and take little children and kill them and hack them to death,
No
would you do
one's-
it?
No one's ordered that in the
Yes.
Bible.
Would you do it?
He would.
Yes. The reason you wouldn't do it, Allah says in the Quran that He wouldn't burden a soul beyond His scope. Yes.
Would you
This
fight the
to a human
unbelievers
being, that is
themselves
to kill a
humiliated?
child in cold blood,
you?
is something beyond his scope. And that is the reason when we look at the example. Wait. That's the reason when we look at the example of Abraham, when he saw in a dream, it wasn't instructed directly by God to go and kill your son. In the Islamic narrative, he saw a dream in which he's told to sacrifice his most beloved thing, and that happened to be his son Ishmael in the Islamic narrative. Now at the end, when this was actually a test for Abraham, because
And as a result of sin, we are all to be punished because we all sin. So if you hold on, please, could I just finish my bit? If you're telling me that you've never lied, you've never stolen, cheated, hated, lusted. If you like, Steve, is entirely up to you, darling. But the fact is that if you're telling me that you're a perfect specimen of humanity, in terms of your fellow human being, you have never sinned against them, then I would say maybe you're a special case. But for the rest of us, everybody knows that they've hated and lusted and been dishonest and dishonoured their parents and all of the things that God doesn't want for us. He wants. So if you imagine,
I don't think she.
no, I'm just setting up.
But have you understood the question he's asking?
Yes. Punishment is the eternal punishment is a result of the fall of man from a state of grace to a state of sin.
Because God didn't get what he wanted. How is that
Unnamed
possible?
fruit.
How is it possible?
He already
that
knew.
God can't get what he wants.
Okay, it wasn't.
With no free will, with no free. So if you force somebody, okay, let me answer you, sir. If you force somebody to love you, it's not love. If you force somebody to do their homework and get a degree and it's not of their own volition. So God, no, there's no threat of death. We're all going to die. The point is
eternal damnation.
Okay, then the point is that
How do you
free will.
in your worldview? I believe you're a pantheist, yeah, because we discussed before.
So you've got a couple of gods on the back burner.
No, for him the universe is the God.
More than one.
For him the universe.
And many.
All is God.
Yeah, basically for him the universe is the manifestation of God. That's what they believe.
Pandemonium is many demons.
No, not pandemonium. Pantheist.
Exactly.
So what is for you? What is your concept of justice in your worldview? How would you?
I'll explain this.
Yeah,
Is it innate?
I'm saying, for example, let's say there's a drug lord, yes, and he basically lives in a luxurious life. He messed up so many lives himself, but he himself lives in a very peaceful existence, basically. How would you, in your pantheistic worldview, yes, ensure that justice is done in that in that situation? No, don't ask me a question with the question.
I'll ask the question.
No, but I asked you the question. You asked many, I answered already.
I asked the question.
Both of you haven't answered this sufficiently.
What's your
yeah,
narrow it down to a sound bite,
How
if you may?
can you say that it is free choice when you are saying, do submit to me or you are eternally damned?
The God of the Bible is not saying. Okay,
No,
the
I've
God
already-
of the Bible
I've already
is not
answered that,
saying
yes.
Submit. So that's my answer.
Well, he does. Do the will of the Father. Read Matthew 7:81.
Submit.
It's just semantics. It's just semantics.
Of your own free will.
No, do the will of the Father very
Do
clearly.
you submit to your parents' view when you were a child?
The thing is,
For your own benefit?
Semantics. Submitting
That's
of
not
your own
semantics.
Free
That's
will
a
is
point.
Still submitting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you said free will. I'm glad you said that. Because all this time you've been saying it's against free will. Now you're saying it's free will. Make up your mind, Mr. Pantheist. You just contradicted yourself. You have. You said submitting by free will. You just said it.
Choices come with a cost. It's
Yes.
not free.
Yes.
To somebody else's
Yes.
will of your free choice is free will.
Thank you.
Not if you are
You're free to go to
That's not
hell as
blackmail. That's a
well.
consequence.
No, it's a threat.
Wait, bro. Do you not realize what you just said? That you said if somebody submits by his free will, yes. I think your look. Allow me to finish. Your main contention is this: why would God punish someone eternally? That's your main contention. No. So what is your main contention?
My main contention is by putting a threat of eternal damnation if you don't do what I say.
Yeah.
Makes it not a free choice.
Why? Why?
Because it's not free.
Okay. So basically, like I gave you, I don't think you understood the analogy I gave you earlier. Yes. The only difference in the analogy which I gave you of a student and a test is the degree of the consequence. That's all the differences.
No, it's not. It's not the only difference.
So what's the difference?
As I said to you
Go on.
earlier, the difference is that you or your parents have given authority to that teacher to give you a set of consequences that has been agreed by that within the human realm.
Why did you bring parents in?
Yeah, because your parents give the teacher
Wait.
authority.
Do you?
You're at university.
You know right now.
Then you've given the university teacher.
Exactly. So by free will.
But when you
So
are
wait.
born,
I don't think he understands it really.
When you are
You're
born-
missing the point.
When you're born into this world, you said that we didn't have a choice to be born.
Okay, first and foremost, let's take one step at a time because right now you want to go all over the place. Maybe you have realized that what you said is basically nonsensical when you say by your own will. if you go to attend a test, yes, so for example, right now you could be a student of the Open University, say for example, and you went and attended a test over there, yes, what that means is that you have decided by your own free will to go and submit to the rules of the test, that I will accept the consequence of this test.
Yes.
If I fail, then this will be the consequence.
Yes.
If I pass, this will be the reward. Now you keep mentioning eternal damnation, but you forget the eternal reward as well. No, wait, let me finish. Eternal reward and eternal damnation are a consequence of the test which God has already told you. So it's not like some secret thing that you'll be chucked into hellfire for no reason at all. Now wait. No, let me make this point. In the case of the student who attends a test by his own free will, yes, and he submits to the rules of the test, that he'll accept the consequence, it's by free will. Similarly, you living in this world, wait. You're living in this world, if you're going to live your entire life of 60, 70, 80 years, whatever it's going to be, yes, at gunpoint, then you would have an excuse on the day of judgment that I submitted to someone who had the gun at my temple, that he could have killed me. But because you do not have such a situation, you live a free life. So you make your choices freely by your own volition. No one's forcing you to do that. When you have clearly got the message, and you have come to Speaker's Corner many times, the Muslims have talked to you that when you submit to Allah, this will be the reward. When you reject Allah and His laws, this will be the consequence. So you know the consequence already. No one is forcing you to go either way. You, by your own decision, by your own free will, have decided to reject Allah as a God.
Say his point is that you don't choose to come into the test that is life. So therefore, it's not the same as going for a test because you just are born.
No, I already addressed that. I said I agree that you did not have the choice. You did not have the choice to come to this world. But because look, even if he was an ant or came as a horse, he wouldn't have a choice either.
You've got the choice to thrive or to.
Whatever you are now is the test.
Look,
whatever you are now, you said Buddhist.
Whatever it means, a human being.
Is going to university, going to school, and you're giving a degree of your sovereignty to that teacher to give you a consequence that you do or you don't get it. This is the point that you've just repeated. It's a bad analogy.
Why?
Because when you come into this world, you haven't got a choice about the authority that you're giving away. You're basically under the test of God in your worldview, under the test of God, whether you like it or not, and you have got consequences that you haven't chosen to play the game in. And so the analogy, you may have a point, but the analogy does not.
Okay, the analogy does work because the reason for you to be in this world and for you to now use your wait a minute.
We're talking logic though, so
the fact that you're able to rationalize this argument now, even that has been given to you by God. Your existence is for God. Yes? So when God created you, yes, it was for a reason. For you to obey the command of God who created you. Now if you're going to complain to God, why did you create me as a human? What would you like to be created as, if not a human?
No. The issue that you're making is within the internal logic of a monotheistic religion.
Which you ascribe to, though. You
No,
said
he
there's
doesn't.
only one God.
No, he believes. No. For him, that thing over there, which is material, is God. This road is a God. The whole universe for him is a God. I don't know how they logically identify that, but I wouldn't consider something not sentient even to be God.
Logic, so let's
but that's not logical to use sentient beings as God. Sorry, non-sentient beings even.
Find that this is one big quantum field, and there is no distinguishing energy particles or.
Yeah, but where did they all come from? Where did God come from? Where did your material God come from?
Yeah, it is.
It was created. It's a creation of
Where did the
creation of Almighty God.
How did it come to expand? But because it's
not
expanding.
eternal. No scientist says it's eternal.
Hold on.
No scientist
Not
says
from
it's
a
eternal.
scientific viewpoint. And not from a
do you know
viewpoint.
what? Do you know the laws of thermodynamics doesn't
It's
make it possible
expanding into
for it to be?
what?
Do you know something called entropy?
Yes.
Entropy wouldn't allow the universe to be eternal. Based on the laws of physics of this very universe, it wouldn't be eternal. So don't tell me it's eternal, because no scientist, no credible scientist says it's eternal. Well, name me one.
Him.
I don't think he's a scientist.
He is now.
He wouldn't have said
But
eternal.
the fact is that it's expanding, so it's expanding into something as a result of a force at the beginning, which, you know,
Yeah.
goes outwards. So it must have a central point in time.
It must have a
space.
beginning.
And in the beginning, God said,
Every star that you are in, or every place that you are in the
Yeah.
universe, everything is expanding outward from that.
exactly.
Every
So it's
position
not
that you're in,
eternal. There was a
everything-
Which means at
There was
some
a-
point it was smaller. Now it's
No,
God
what I mean
said
is
so.
that everything is the centre of that expansion.
no,
yeah, but expansion.
no. But that's not true.
Expansion actually implies that at some point it wasn't that big. It was smaller than that. Yes, which means it was
Because then it
finite,
was smaller
which
again,
means it wasn't
smaller again,
eternal,
smaller
as you
again.
keep saying. There's no evidence you have that the universe was eternal because entropy wouldn't allow it. The law.
Have that.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into it because
Of course you wouldn't, because you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be.
But that's all your God.
You know, you said earlier. You said illogical. What you just said is illogical. That the universe is
But we
eternal.
have to use your
It's
logic
quantum field
when you're
theory that I
clearly
can't
irreligious.
You can't just throw words like quantum field theory and expect it to be eternal. No quantum field theory says it's eternal.
That Paul was an apostle.
It's-
We've now
Yeah.
come to this guy's
By the way, you know your earlier question that you didn't have a choice to come to this world.
idea of God.
You don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because you already are
So
here.
he says that
Well, it's
basically
still
The fact that the fact that you are here,
reward
that I'm
is
making, that you're
as
not
a
really
gun to
addressing
your head,
is
therefore
not a
free
free
will is
choice.
kind of not
It is.
real.
No, no,
it is. Once you're here, it is a free choice.
You haven't had the
Get
choice
out
that
of
you're
it
in.
without
You haven't got the
consequence.
choice
You
of
can't
who your
choose to say,
parents are.
I'm out.
You haven't got a choice
Like, do
where
you know what I mean? Which I
you haven't got a choice which body you're in. You haven't got a choice about a whole load of things.
Okay, what would you have done?
No, wait.
Let me ask you a fair question. Yeah, I heard you. Let me ask you one question. Let's say you had a choice to come this world. Would you be a human or something else?
Maybe at the beginning.
I've no idea.
Well, you're talking hypothetically, so I'm asking a hypothetical
Do you
question.
like another
Yes?
viewpoint? This gentleman wanted to be involved somewhat. I've explained the
If you-
premise, and he said, nah.
Yeah, that's
He
fine.
didn't actually.
I want to know your question. No, but
You would just
it's
be-
no. You talked a lot about free will. So I'm asking you, using your free will, what
I
would
haven't
you?
got free will.
No, from your perspective.
I haven't got free will.
So you're saying from your pantheistic perspective, you have no free will. So you're no different to us then. So why are you objecting all this time? I don't. So all of a sudden you're saying you have no free will even in your own worldview.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because in my own worldview,
After all that.
How can you choose to answer that question in the affirmative?
in my own worldview,
He's got no choice.
compared to your two worldviews, the
Which you know so
difference
well
is-
after 10
is
minutes.
that no one is to blame. That is the difference.
Everyone is to
What-
blame. That's the point.
I know that's the difference.
Wait. So you're saying
No, everyone is to blame from a
So let me get this right. You're telling.
Everyone's responsible.
So you're
no one's
wait.
to blame.
You're
Everybody's
telling
to
me that
blame.
if you commit a crime, you're not to be blamed.
Everyone's responsible.
Everybody sins against
They're
God.
No. Answer the question. If you commit a crime, are you to be blamed?
It depends who
You.
it depends on who defines
Your
crime.
definition
Okay.
of crime.
Your definition.
Sherlock.
Do you know what? Do you know what a crime means?
Yes.
What is a crime?
Breaking the laws of the local country.
Yeah, and if you did that, would you be accountable?
I don't know because I may.
He doesn't know.
You see what I mean? That's a
Accountable to a magistrate if
I
you're
go
caught.
to another country,
yeah.
and I don't know what the laws of that country are.
No, but if you knew,
Ignorance is no
Well, but
defense.
You're changing the.
I'm not.
what God
I'm not.
says.
I defined it as crime, and you gave me the definition as well.
So using your definition, are you accountable for your choices that led to the crime?
Nuance.
Okay, nuance. Let's see nuance.
No, it's called sarcasm.
Okay, using nuance. If you want to call it that, no problem. Let's say you went to a country. Yes, any country you go, is murder wrong? Any country.
Are there any countries where it's legal?
Yeah.
Ignoring the issue.
No. You are. You know what you're doing.
obfuscating the
You.
truth.
Yeah, exactly. You are now trying to be. For some reason, you're trying to reject the obvious. You're completely rejecting what many consider to be obvious. For example, you don't even need to be in a country, any country,
that stealing is
even a person who has never come to a civilized world, who might be living in a forest somewhere, even they would know to take the life of another person is wrong instinctively. They would know this because
written on
this
your
is
heart.
something which we call fitra in Islam. That means you are programmed in such a way as a human being that you would know when you harm someone, kill someone, instinctively you would know that is wrong.
Can I just say, you know, how do you get that fitra?
Fitra is programmed into you
Programmed by who?
by God.
Is it Muslims
Yes.
or all
And why do you get your soul?
Say again?
How do you get your soul?
Again from Allah.
From Allah?
Yes.
How do you get your body?
Same.
Don't you get your
Everything
body
that is
from
yours,
your mother's womb?
everything that is yours, including your mother, they came from Allah.
So we've got the fitra, we've got the soul, and we've got the body.
Yeah, they are.
It's the Trinity. It's the Trinity.
It's not supposed to be a joke.
potentially, but it's a pretty poor.
Now that you know what he has done, because he couldn't answer a logical
You
question.
avoided the question.
Yeah, exactly. This is called basically smokes and mirrors. That's what he has done. You're very good at that.
I
What is
can
the answer?
You
If
can answer, of
murder-
course.
Can answer the question.
Go for it.
When was your free pay?
Murder is wrong, you know that. You know that. Will you be accountable if you murdered? The reason you're not answering.
Pay these sets of questions.
No, but you haven't answered my question. My question is that, do you know that murder is wrong?
The universe.
I've answered you.
No, you haven't. You haven't answered.
And he thinks
You haven't answered the question. Do you believe that murder is wrong?
Do I believe it's wrong?
Yes.
Sorry, what's my question?
No, wait.
Oh,
Let him
sorry,
answer
sorry.
the question first. I'm surprised you have to think about this.
No, because in the construct of a non-dual world, obviously murder is considered wrong.
In your worldview, is murder wrong?
World.
In your worldview, is murder wrong?
And I think that the fabric of reality accepts that these things happen. It's not a
Morally
personal
wrong.
thing.
I'm not saying if it happens or not. I'm asking you. In your worldview, is murder considered to be wrong?
It has-
Would you mind if it happened to you?
You
Like,
see,
you go,
he can't even answer this simple question, and then he's asking
would you
us.
care if it happened to your loved one?
When it happens, I accept that that happens in reality.
But you're not
But
nature,
you-
you're a human
Is
being.
it desirable?
No, but you earlier said no one is accountable.
And he's talking about crime.
If it
by
happens,
other
wait,
people.
if it happens, and you just admitted it happens, who should be held accountable for that?
Okay, can I just...
He won't answer.
I will
He won't answer that
The
question.
murderer. Do I get a point?
I was going to ask Kay about this, but the answer to that
Yeah.
is that I said to you, and you're saying about accountability, I'm saying that people have responsibility to not murder, for instance.
Based on what moral value?
Hold on. They have responsibility.
He's a pantheist. He's a pantheist,
They have
yeah.
responsibility, but they don't have blame. There's no point in blaming a murderer. They are the product of all that's happened before them. Their circumstances, their parenting,
Is
their
it for real?
genetics. They are the product of that. It's not to say you wouldn't put them in prison to protect the public, but they are not to blame for who they are.
So none of the criminals are basically guilty. They all have some reason.
Victims, they're all
They all have some reason. Come on, seriously?
I love this. The Jewish, the Christians, the Muslims.
Amen.
The logical ones and the illogical one.
Can I ask you a question? You
If you do not hold a criminal accountable for his crime, then you do not live in a civilized world.
I said you hold them
the ones that
accountable.
turn up.
They're
No, not
to blame.
pan
They're
as in like many
responsible
gods,
for their
as in
actions.
one
But there's no point in
all-encompassing
vilifying them or saying that they're
So now you're saying they're accountable.
they're
I see.
responsible.
Are they accountable?
Well, in that
But not
sense,
to
they're
blame.
accountable. Yeah.
But earlier you denied it. You said nobody's accountable.
They're not blame. I said not to blame.
Now you're using semantics like Kaya.
Hold on, Ashes. Can I take your wallet, please? Because I'm the victim of my wallet's been taken before.
Nah,
Can
I got
take your
better.
wallet?
Give me the keys to your home.
I think you don't understand. You see.
Oh, I do understand. I think you're
Give me the keys to your home.
He doesn't have a wallet because
I
he's a
don't blame you,
victim.
my
and
children.
and give me the address as well.
You're not my dad. That's for sure.
If you've got a fellow that's temple
Is it stopped?
and he takes out and
Kind of. Yeah, well.
That's alright.
and you tell him
Thank you, by the way.
It's alright.
I know it's wrong, I know I'm doing a bad thing, and he stops that.
So why is he doing
Is he
it?
accountable?
Just for fun. In this scenario, just for fun.
He knows it's wrong. but he's
Yes.
still
Why is
doing
he
it.
doing it?
For fun.
Sorry, why is he doing what?
Say for
Why is
fun.
he going to stab a number of people?
For fun.
You don't know and you don't care.
He might be a psychopath.
For fun.
Why is he doing
Yeah,
Right, listen.
you made up the story. So what's the answer? Why is he doing it?
For a very intricate reason that the universe knows.
Okay, and then he's going to stand
Has
on
anyone got time on?
Is that a realistic construct?
Oh gosh, is it realistic to say that the universe is
time?
eternal?
What's the
No,
time?
it's not. No, it's not.
4:34.
I don't know. We got another person come in, so we had to go with the pantheists. Guys, can you make this into 2 videos? The cave with the Christians and the pantheists, a separate argument.
Logic versus illogic is a type
That I
of
agree with you,
test.
because he's contradicted himself many times.
Okay, not to be in that state of mind, but to do it, he is to blame.
No, not to blame. He's responsible for his actions.
It's semantics.
How is he held
Semantics, come on, you know that. It is semantics.
means there's I bear a consequence for what I do. And
Everyone's
what way
got
is he bearing-
consequences.
And
You
what's
only
the
have to
consequences that he bears?
The consequences is that he will potentially be put in prison to protect.
But for no fault of his own. For no fault of his own.
No.
Just
Well,
bad
okay,
luck, I guess.
Yeah, it is actually.
So you're saying you don't agree with the whole moral value system in the
Please God.
Actually, no, forget it. You don't believe in any justice system, in other words.
No.
So you're saying that all justice systems are wrong,
It's just to protect the
according to him.
Public protection. Yeah.
I wonder what.
No consequence.
No.
I ask him, where do you get your belief
No.
arrived
With
from?
that,
Where
so
did
if
you
we
get
were,
this?
He's a pantheist,
living
yeah.
in if we were living in a very small village, there's maybe 5 of us.
All right, I
we're
think we
all
should wrap
quite
up now.
armed.
It's been long, yeah.
We're all able to do
Yeah,
good
because
and he kills
can't-
a baby. But there are only 5 people in the village. We can easily demolish him physically. But we decided we'll put him in prison. It's not to protect
He doesn't
us.
believe in justice
It's a
system.
consequence
That's what
of
it
his
is. Yeah.
action.
For him, there's no good and evil.
No,
Do you believe in good and evil?
He's killed them.
I don't think he does.
There's no justice system, there's no good and
I
evil.
don't label behaviours in the terms of good and evil.
So what do
But he
you
supports
define as good and evil?
transgender.
I just told you I don't.
Everything's illogical in his argument,
There's
unfortunately.
no good and evil.
Yeah. Well, these.
Men and women?
I see a lot
Are
of
there
good and evil in
genders?
this world.
Yeah. Are there genders, sir?
Let's not broaden this. So it's
Well, it's not broadening it. We're talking about men,
I see
humankind killing.
Where do you arrive your belief from? Where does
Pantheism, apparently.
What is it
From his own mind. Is there an external truth source for you?
You see that logic?
Evidently, I do. Yes.
That a murderer is only punished to protect the public, not for his actions. It's not
I know it's not logical. You know that as
I
well.
know it. So I tell you.
How can it be logical when you don't even believe that there is good and bad in this world, and,
There's no
which is
free will.
obvious?
The murderer had to murder because there's no free
It's
will,
obvious.
Hashim. He says so.
Hold on. For all 3 representatives of the major
Islamic-
Islamic religions,
Yes.
I'm honoured,
welcome.
sir.
Here's a possibility that
You're talking
that
nonsense.
humanity has created a god-like system, a monotheistic god system that puts the power of their society into a more powerful kind of godlike system, and that has been propagated throughout time to create a degree of social control, not necessarily. No.
Did they do it with free will?
Not
Did they have
necessarily.
free will when they
Let him finish, guys. Let him finish.
Say something, but no.
Okay.
No. So you've got this construct, and this construct
Stemming
you would
from
put
innate
into
goodness.
this eternal construct of society. Now, one of the things that you can define is your consciousness, but there's what's more possible, what's more hypothetically possible. So, for instance, if another out of solar system set of beings created humans through genetic engineering and then wanted to be treated like the god and the creator of those humans, then you would be potentially worshipping that group of creators. However, those creators have a consciousness, so that consciousness is actually universal.
Are you following this?
Space.
So you.
In a sense, what is actually the observer consciousness in them is the universal consciousness that I'm talking.
No, but your universal consciousness, define that. Define universal consciousness. It's justice, yeah?
It's just
How is that a definition?
same as God.
No, it's not, because God is not
God
consciousness.
justice. God justice.
God is not consciousness.
He's not conscious.
He's not consciousness. Your
You're
conscious,
saying it as if
your
he's not conscious.
No, I'm
He
not
said
saying
he's
God is
not
not conscious.
consciousness.
I'm saying it is not. God is a creator. It's not conscious. In fact, your consciousness itself is a creation of God. The fact that you are aware of your here.
You can become unconscious.
I'd say the mercy and the attributes that you give to Jesus.
I don't give them. He told me about them. I don't give them.
Father, Allah, are anthropomorphized.
No, it's not.
Projections.
Do you know how I
No,
know
it's
this
not.
isn't true?
Of human
Okay.
birth.
In
And
fact,
what-
that is the last thing you can say about the Muslims, because
And
we do
what-
not
can I answer?
we do not have a anthropomorphic view of God, and you should know that.
You have the mercy.
The shape of
Wait, wait,
Allah. Let's
what
not
is-
go there.
So you're saying the animals show mercy? Doesn't mean you're an animal?
No, what I'm
What kind of
Can I
logic is
ask
that?
you then, please? So you're
Nonsense.
saying that groups of humans came together of their own free will, I would add, and imagined and constructed
Huh?
a set of moral principles
raining, yeah.
by which to guide
Is there anybody
their
else?
societies and ascribed these, beneficent
There's
feelings.
any
and
other
maybe
debates, we'll probably move
punishment
that,
to
because this is
an
getting
all-powerful God, and
too
therefore
long.
created him. And I would argue that if they have the innate desire to have justice and mercy and peace and love and patience and kindness, as opposed to murder, theft, rape, etc., I would suggest that that is the image of God in them before they have the idea to get together to make the society. So it's a kind of chicken and egg thing, but humans at one point were very few on the earth. We never, this, because we're not eternal, because this world is not eternal, we have grown in number exponentially to the point where there are billions, whereas in the past there were hundreds of thousands, and at one point there were 2 in our worldview. So the point being that not all these societies, so remote African tribes, Venezuelan rainforest people, Inuit people, they couldn't have all had this same idea to ascribe beneficence to an external creator, surely.
Can I answer to that?
What's the logic or the probability of that statistically? Yeah.
Okay, so many societies ascribe thunder and lightning as anger of the gods.
Where?
True or false?
Where? Are you saying currently?
Throughout.
Bristol? No, I'm joking. Are you saying currently?
Actually, that's a physical phenomenon. So I don't know what you're trying
He
to say.
means in the past, I
I'm
think.
saying that in primitive.
Okay, primitive.
Well, if you wait, actually, the primitive people who would consider thunder
They said it was
as
Zeus.
as being the wrath of God, yes,
Yes.
in your worldview, that is God, because you're a pantheist.
So-
For him, everything, the whole universe is God, including pantheist means the manifestation of God as universe. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So
So
Yes is
the
your answer.
thunderbolt in your case, my friend, would be God.
it's
a manifestation of God.
Manifestation of reality, yes.
Well, God, according to you.
Well,
But everything
would you
is
say
God.
it's a manifestation of reality?
Well, it's a law.
We're in agreement.
It's
We're in agreement.
basically a physical phenomenon.
ascribing
A law of physics.
everything
Sorry,
to-
a phenomenon,
Can I get this point out first?
natural
Try.
phenomenon. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll try. So the issue is, in primitive people in the past would ascribe the gods to certain physical things,
Yeah.
like, for instance, thunder,
Yes.
lightning, and they would ascribe emotion,
Let me know if there's another discussion. Yeah.
emotions to that behaviour. So that
Phenomena,
they would say,
yes.
the gods are angry, the gods are
We got it.
wrathful,
Move on.
and it is. So you said, well, why does everyone do this around the world?
No, I'm saying without the-
No, you said.
Yes.
So why does everyone?
Yes, and you didn't
in the
answer me.
I'm answering you.
No, you're not.
The tribes around the world. Why do they
You're not.
ascribe this creator god? And what
No,
I'm
they
saying
didn't
is,
all do that
and
though.
what I'm saying is that we ascribe emotions and power to the things we don't understand, and that's what.
And
I'm
therefore
saying
they can't be
humanity is.
true, is
No,
my
But aren't you guilty of doing the same thing? You have
Theism is
ascribed power and basically majesty in some way to the universe.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So you are guilty of the same thing as those primitive people. I don't know why you call them primitive, because your idea is exactly as them, which you call primitive.
No, well,
Yes, for you everything is God. So if there was some waste over there, that would be God. If there would be some diamonds over there, that would be God. So regardless of what in the universe, every material matter for you is God. You see what I mean? To me, that's primitive.
Is toilet paper God?
Well, even the poop in the toilet will be God to him.
Because God's not in the supermarkets.
There is no material matter. This is all.
What do you
energy.
mean?
Whoa. What do you mean there's
Sorry,
There is no material matter. The only reason why there is any mass is because of the Higgs field, which is a quantum field.
You're saying there's
How would you
no
define matter?
physical
Wait. How do you define matter? Let's see.
Energy.
Matter is just energy?
Yeah.
And is energy matter?
No, energy equals.
So then matter is existing. Thank you very much.
Energy equals mass.
If I-
But Einstein.
yeah, mass times the speed of light twice.
All of this universe
E is equal to mc
is
squared.
a set of fields.
Yes.
There is no solid
There's no
entity.
supernatural.
It's
By the way,
a function.
where did energy come
I
from?
can't follow what you're
Let's see
saying.
if you know
I'm
that.
quite.
Where did energy come?
Understand what
I-
doesn't mean
No,
it's
I
rubbish.
understand what
Where
you're
did-
saying.
where did
I don't
en-
understand
wait.
how you get to
Okay,
that.
1 minute. Where did energy come from according to you?
It's eternal.
It just is.
It's just is no. Where did it come? Where's the origin of energy?
Same kind of thing as
No,
God, isn't it?
no, it's not eternal. Energy is not eternal. If that's what you're trying to say.
I think you're talking
Energy
about
is finite.
Energy is eternal.
No, it's not.
Finite.
No scientist define energy as eternal.
Electricity
Okay?
runs
Because you
out,
see,
time
energy. If you look,
burns away.
if you read the law of thermodynamics. Wait. If you, what do you mean? Which version? How many versions are there?
Of energy.
Energy.
Conservation of a
No, no.
finite resource.
Energy
It
basically-
can be transferred.
Energy cannot even exist without a closed system. Okay, so energy has been defined as it cannot be created or destroyed in a closed system.
Cannot be what?
Created or destroyed in a closed system. Okay, and something you need to realize that
Universally, isn't it?
this is one of the laws of thermodynamics. Another law is about entropy. Entropy is where actually everything, for example, which is energy, it actually deteriorates in terms of energy. For example, if you had a car and you kept it for 10,000 years, it won't be a car anymore because it's deteriorated. So everything that is energy has deterioration. It does deteriorate. What about the order?
Entropy is order. It's not the energy. It's the order.
Yeah, the order basically comes, the order which is organized at one point comes to an end. The order comes to an end. Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So not everything, because you say energy is eternal, doesn't make it eternal.
It does.
It has an origin.
Proved anything different to that?
I told you need a closed system.
Talked about entropy. This is a closed system.
Yeah, but no scientist says the universe is eternal.
This is a closed system.
Yeah, after it's created, yeah. After its existence, yes. But before, it didn't used to even exist.
Scientists don't know, but what they are
Scientists don't know, and you know, wow.
but what they are saying now.
My friend, your God is a creation of God. Your God is a creation of my God. That's it. End of it. Okay? Anyway, thanks for your time, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just told him his God is a creation of my God. Well, our God. Because we believe in one God.
I'm just very happy.
We believe in one God.
You know, had a nice chat on the same side for once.
Yeah.
Come more
It
often,
stopped raining.
and we'll
No, but honestly, people who believe in the universe as God, you believe in the creation as God, basically. That's what it boils down to.
Well, that's the choice. You know, I'm saying the universe.
Sorry, I've got to say it. That's your free choice. That's your free will in action.
Yeah.
You're not forced into that conclusion, are you?
You know, I'm surprised you didn't answer my question, that if you were given a choice, what would you come as?
I think because it's like when you've asked me questions like this before.
What would be your ideal state of existence if you were given the choice?
What's the ideal state?
Yeah.
of existence? I honestly, unless
Would you come as a unicorn? Would you come as a human being? I don't know. What would you want to come as?
You don't want this.
If you were given,
gun to
you know,
your head.
you kept saying I did not have a choice to be born. If you were given the choice, let's say hypothetically, no, anything you want, that's a choice, unlimited.
Nothing.
Yes.
Do you believe
So you
in
would
reincarnation?
you would not want to exist. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Why?
there goes your whole logic about asking questions about why was I not given a choice? You see, my friend, even if you were given the choice, you would take the most illogical, the most mediocre choice that you out there, basically, which is nothing.
Nothing.
That means you wouldn't even want to exist.
That's very
There you
sad.
go. That would be your free choice,
As I said.
Please God, don't let me be existing even.
As I said,
He's joking.
No, I'm not. That's what he's saying.
Talking to God.
Yeah.
It's an impossible question.
It's not an impossible. You asked me many hypothetical questions. I asked you one. It's only
The
fair.
universe is
there are
just
so
a set
many
of something.
conditions of.
Anyway, thanks
of
very
what
much, Hashim.
you
No
could
problem.
say. Any answer that I give could be kind of deconstructed, and any answer I give would be incomplete. You know, so.
But your ideal state of existence would be nothing. That's what you're saying.
Well, okay, be pure consciousness.
Then that is not nothing. Okay? How do you define pure consciousness?
Awareness.
Just awareness? Yeah, but what would you be to be aware?
I would just be awareness.
What is that? Awareness itself is a concept, you know that.
So I would.
You cannot touch awareness. It's an abstract. So you, you're saying you just want to be an abstract thing. So
your awareness is an
no,
experience.
yeah, awareness is awareness of what? First and foremost, awareness of your surroundings. Yes. So you need to have space. You need to have time to become aware, to be aware. So space and time are necessary for you. For you, you cannot. There has to be time, because otherwise, for you to say I'm aware,
Time, space.
there is the space-time. Space-time continuum has to be there for you to be aware.
Well, I don't know that, do I?
Well, for you as a human being to be aware. But because you're saying awareness, you need to be some entity to be aware.
Allah, in your terms, has got awareness and is outside of space-time. So awareness does not have to be within space-time.
Yeah, but Allah is not nothing. You said you want to be nothing.
I said awareness.
Yeah, but Allah is not just awareness or just consciousness. That's why I told you these things are abstract. These things are something that's not tangible. But you want to be, if you want to,
Awareness is abstract.
yeah, do you not consider it to be something which is what do you say, is basically a concept?
No, it's an
Or
experience.
rather it's a, how do you define consciousness? Is the awareness that you exist, that I am. Yes, the I am thing, that I exist. Sorry.
The awareness.
Yes.
It's the observer part of your mind body
Yeah.
in space time, but it could be outside of space time.
Yeah. So you need to be something to be aware. You can't just be awareness. I mean, you can't.
You're just saying that, but you neither of us can answer that question, to be honest.
No, it is, because awareness and concept comes from your own existence, isn't it?
No, that's a straw
It's your.
That's a straw
No, it's not a straw man argument. Consciousness doesn't exist by itself. It needs an entity to make, to basically experience that, to have thought, to think. Yes, you need to be something to manifest those things of awareness, of feelings, of emotions. You cannot just be nothing and then have awareness. That would be nonsensical.
I don't think it's nonsensical.
It is, because awareness itself, it doesn't just appear to be like in its own existence.
Well, that's where we differ.
No, we don't, because awareness is of a body, of an entity who is aware of itself.
Well,
It doesn't just float in the air, awareness,
It does.
or feelings or consciousness. It doesn't. Not to. If you can show me any example from the universe where it just floats by itself without having any.
I did a while ago. I spoke to you about the double slit experiment. Did you ever look it up?
What's that got to do with awareness?
So that is the relationship between the observer and the observed, and the when. So this is about quantum field theory, and ultimately the concept is that everything is just a wave of energy until it's observed, and when it becomes observed, it acts like particles or more material kind of function, and that is.
And who is observing that?
So if you have an experiment of the double slit,
No, I understood that. I'm asking you, who is observing it?
I'm just trying to answer.
Okay.
If you've got the double slit experiment and you observe that experiment, it will act like a particle. If you don't observe it, it'll act like a wave.
Who is observing it?
Humans.
Exactly. So this human is not nothing.
No, what I'm saying is that the particles that